Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 211 for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. Thanks for everyone either listening to the audio version of the podcast or tuning in to the live stream on YouTube right now. Happy to have you here. Wherever you are, whatever you're listening on or watching on YouTube, either way, thanks for tuning in. And on today's episode, kind of a special episode, because in the mail today, got this year's PWI 500 Pro Wrestling Illustrated. As you can see by the cover, number one this year, the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. So I'm going to go over that. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over the whole list, the whole 500. But if you want, I definitely recommend getting that. Not sure if it's on newsstands yet, but newsstands, who says that anymore? In stores, I should say. But if you see it anywhere, you should definitely pick it up. And also representing the Pro Wrestling Illustrated t-shirt right here. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, let me tell you something, is a magazine that I've been reading probably since I learned how to read. I don't even know how many years then, but it's definitely been. And like I said, I'm not going to discuss the whole top 500. That would take forever. So I'm just going to probably do the top 50. That shouldn't take too long, I don't think, because I don't on and on and on and on. All right, let's get off with the top 50 first, right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And I just want to apologize real quick. Sometimes I forget that I'm doing both audio and video. If you're listening to the audio right now, I showed the cover on the YouTube channel, the live stream. Cover number one, Jon Moxley, the AEW World Champion. Once again, just in case you're listening to the audio version. All right, let's start off. Number 50, we have representing CMLL, Ultimo Guerrero. And 49, we got the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. And 48, the Viper, Randy Orton. 47, Go Sasuke. And we got number 46 from NXT, Johnny Gargano. Matt Taven coming in at 45. Number 44, we got Bobby Lashley. 43, Rey Mysterio. 42, Sawama. 41, King Corbin. 40, Takahashi, representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. Big fan of Takahashi. Great wrestler, in my opinion. 39 is Pac, who we have not seen recently in All Elite Wrestling because of COVID. He's still in England, unable to come here to the U.S. to be at the Dynamite tapings and the pay-per-views. But hopefully soon we'll be able to see him back in the AEW ring. Big fan of Pac. And 38 is Hiroshi Tanahashi. Of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Ace. 37, Kevin Owens. 36, Kimoa. 35 is Finn Balor. And 34, we have Bandito. And 33, Hangman Adam Page coming in. 32, Daniel Bryan, who's recently a new father. 31, we have PCO, who is one of the recent big comeback stories in professional wrestling. 30 is Tommaso Ciampa, another one representing NXT. And 29, also NXT, the Undisputed Era being represented with Roderick Strong. Now let's go on to number 28, and it is the Switchblade Jim. I apologize for that. The Switchblade Jay White from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Sorry, I don't know why I started to say Jim. I have no idea. Jay White. And then Andrade coming in at 27 right here. 26, the newest partner of Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura. 25, from NXT UK, it is Walter. And then Kento Mahara, number 24. Number 23, Aleister Black. 22 is MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who recently challenged for the AEW World Championship at the All Out pay-per-view, which I recapped on the last episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Very impressive. And I'm just saying this right now, MJF is one I'm predicting who will be on the PWI 500. Not just on the list, but towards the top of the list for years to come. And he's number 22 this year in 2020. And I definitely predict that in the coming years, he's definitely going to go higher. Great athlete, great wrestler, great heel, MJF. Number 21 is the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. 20 is Jacob Fatu. 19, Braun Strowman, the monster among men. Number 18 is Roosh. Of course, Ring of Honor. 17, Kota Ibushi. Bray Wyatt comes in at number 16. Before we get to 15, take a quick sip of coffee. This Rowdy Roddy Piper coffee mug available at ProWrestlingTees.com. Just like this Pro Wrestling Illustrated t-shirt at the PWI store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Available in different colors. Once again, not sponsored by Pro Wrestling Illustrated, or Pro Wrestling Tees, I meant to say either one. But if either one want to sponsor this podcast, 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and I know PWI has their own podcast, which is great, but if anybody wants to sponsor, that would be great. Number 15, we have Nick Aldis, the NWA World Champion. Definitely a great wrestler. Great in his TNA run, in my opinion. Now he's even better in the NWA. 14, it's the big dog, Roman Reigns. 13, Kenny Omega. 12 is Brock Lesnar. Number 11, recently called up to Monday Night Raw, Keith Lee. And now let's get up to the top 10 in the 2020 PWI 500. It is the phenomenal AJ Styles, who has definitely been in the PWI 500 many, many times. And in fact, at one time, he was the first ever TNA wrestler to be number one in the PWI 500. Number 9, we got Kofi Kingston. Number 8, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. Number 7, the American Nightmare, Cody, who is currently not on TV, but will be again soon, but outside the ring, as it was announced last Wednesday night after Dynamite. The Go Big Show will be on TNT. He'll be one of the judges on that show. At number 6, we have Kazuchika Okada, great wrestler. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Number 5, we have Naito coming in. Number 4 is the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre. Number 3, Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And number 2 is representing NXT. It's Adam Cole, baby, as he would say. And number 1, I actually already spoiled it by showing the cover. Jon Moxley, the All Elite Wrestling World Champion. So, if you want to find out the rest, pick it up in the stores. Or if you're like me and you have a subscription, you should be getting it soon. I got it today. Or maybe you got it already. Who knows? And that's the PWI 500 for 2020. And real quick, I just want to go over something. Tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, it was made official October 24th, Bound for Glory, live on pay-per-view. It will be Eric Young taking on Rich Swann for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. The man that Eric Young took out of action, forced into retirement, will go one-on-one for the Impact World Championship on their biggest night of the year, their biggest stage, Bound for Glory, live on pay-per-view. I definitely recommend you either order on your pay-per-view provider or the Fight TV app. I've already got it ordered, so you should too. Bound for Glory, October 14th. And I want to go over real quick a show I watched over the weekend from Warrior Wrestling, which was live on the Fight app. And it was a very good show, I have to admit. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I was very impressed. And you can order the replay right now on the Fight app. Just search for Warrior Wrestling or go to the live events section. Scroll down a little bit. You should be able to find it. And I'm just going to... It's a part of a series too. So you can either order the single shows or you can order the bundle pack and you get I think it's 3 shows you can get for a good price. So download the Fight app or go to fight.tv, check out Warrior Wrestling. Let's get on this show. At a high school football field, I don't remember the name of the school, but it was a high school Catholic school. I do remember in Chicago Heights, Illinois, I believe. And we kicked things off with Isaiah Velasquez taking on Daga. And it is Daga getting the win 8 minutes, 43 seconds. And next up, we see Filthy Tom Lawler defeating Kevin O via submission. And Kimberly, next up, takes on the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. It is Rosa getting the victory in this match. 11 minutes, 51 seconds. Then next is All Elite Wrestling superstar Joey Janela taking on Warhorse, and who recently, not too long ago, was on AEW Dynamite challenging for the TNT Championship against Cody, which had a very impressive showing, in my opinion. It is Warhorse sneaking the win and getting the victory with a schoolboy at 13 minutes, 48 seconds. And we see Joey Janela, when he's making his way to the back, he gets on the microphone, is going to say something, and then he is attacked by two masked men. Don't know who they are. And they attack him. And at this time, it just started raining. So they're beating up Janela. The rain coming down. They get him back in the ring. Leave him laying. These two mystery masked men. And then after this, we have a bit of a rain delay. As I said during the beatdown, it started raining there in Chicago. So we had a little bit of a rain delay. And then the rain did stop. So the action was able to resume. And it was a good thing because we got a great match up next. Alex Shelley taking on TJP. And this one was definitely my pick for match of the night. Definitely worth the $14.99, the price of the show on the Fight app, Fight.tv. If you have not seen this match, definitely check it out. Like I said, this match alone, the rest of the show is good, don't get me wrong, but this match alone is worth the price of admission, as I guess you could say, or price of viewing, since you're not actually, whatever. Alex Shelley picks up the win at 13 minutes, 39 seconds. Then after Shelley cuts a promo thanking all the fans for staying during the rain delay, and Elena Black defeats Dan the Dad at 6 minutes, 10 seconds. Next up, we have another All Elite Wrestling superstar in action as Brian Cage defeats Benjamin Carter in 12 minutes, 6 seconds. And after this match, we see Cage give props to Carter, shake his hand, show him respect. Let me tell you, though, I was very impressed with Benjamin Carter in this one. Not too familiar with him. I know of him, but I haven't really seen a whole lot of him. But I was very impressed in this match he had with Brian Cage. 6-man tag team action is up next now, and it is Myron Reed, Jordan Oliver, and Chris Bay to take on the Rascals representing Impact Wrestling. This one was a very good match in my opinion. we see a spot where the Rascals blow some smoke in their opponent's face, and then we see some action in slow motion, believe it or not. And that's pretty entertaining. And that was Warrior Wrestling, the first show in this series. The other shows are also available on Fight.tv, and the second show is this Saturday night. So I recommend not only ordering the replay of this first show that took place this past Saturday night, but also I recommend the second show as well, because if it's anything like the first one in the series, it is definitely going to be a good show with solid wrestling. Another sip of coffee there. And real quick, I just want to go over some little bit of news and notes here, right here on the Ringside News app. Great website, Ringside News. Now, let's see. Matt Cardona says that he would 100% wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I wouldn't mind seeing that, in my opinion. Also, check out the Major Brothers Wrestling Figures podcast. I think I got that right. Very good show. And a spin-off podcast, the Figure Wrestling Federation, which I have been enjoying with Matt Cardona and why can't I think of his name now? Brian Myers, yeah. Brian Myers. Sorry about that if he's watching, which I doubt he is, but very great. They have their own fantasy figure wrestling federation, and they compete with each other in the ratings. If you have not listened to that podcast, I definitely recommend you check it out. The Major Brothers Wrestling Figures podcast. And also, I don't know how I didn't put this on my notes. The main event for the Royal Wrestling show, shame on me, a match for the Royal Wrestling Women's Championship. Tessa Blanchard returning to the pro wrestling ring for the first time since she exited Impact Wrestling to defend the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship against Kylie Ray. And this one was great. I'm sorry I forgot to mention that in the recap, but I don't know why, because it was a great match. And in the end, we see Kylie Ray win the championship by defeating Tessa Blanchard in the middle of the ring to become the new Royal Wrestling Women's Champion. Very good match, in my opinion. I definitely recommend you check it out. And last night on Raw, the cage match I want to talk about real quick. Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins. I thought it was pretty good. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen now with Aaliyah, Rey Mysterio's daughter. They had her kind of console Buddy Murphy. Could that lead to a storyline? It could be. Who knows? And last Wednesday, Miro made his All Elite Wrestling debut. He had put a video on his YouTube channel discussing that. I suggest you check that out. Pretty good video. And Randy Orton launching his own apparel line. apparently. That'd be pretty interesting to check out. Don't know if that's going to be in stores or online. Who knows? But I would wear his clothing apparel. Who knows how much it would cost, or like I said, where it will be available. But we'll have to stay tuned to that to see. And let me know in the comments section if you would buy Randy Orton's apparel clothing line, whatever you want to call it. And that's about it for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thanks for tuning in wherever you tune in, whether you are listening to the audio version on Anchor.fm or the Google Play Podcast or Spotify or any of the other podcatchers we are available on. Why am I saying we? I'm the only one on here. But hey, if you're a huge wrestling fan and want to do a podcast, I have actually been thinking about maybe having a co-host if I can find anybody who would put up with me as a podcast partner. If you're interested, actually, either leave a comment in the comment section or email 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know if you're serious about it. Like I said, I think it would be pretty cool to have a co-host here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic. But who knows if I'll find somebody that would want to put up with me as a partner. But I recommend, though, somebody that is a serious wrestling fan as much as I am. And that would be great if anybody wants to. Like I said, once again, you can leave a comment right here in the comment section, YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, or if any of the podcatchers thingies, if they have comment sections, leave a comment there. I don't know if they do or not, but if they do, leave a comment there or email. That might be the easiest way. 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. Facebook 360 Wrestling Podcast. There too, if you want. And Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod. Instagram 360 Wrestling Podcast. All that good stuff. All those social media things. And remember, crazy world right now. Just be safe. Wear your mask. Use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. Stay 60 feet, or not 60 feet, 6 feet away from people. Social distancing. All that good stuff. Just be safe. Be happy. Be healthy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.